There are many symbols used at Easter time, and for us Catholic Christians and many other Christians, the Paschal candle is a primary liturgical symbol. In fact, many times we just refer to it as the Easter candle because we light a new one at the Easter Vigil, and it will remain here throughout the Easter season. And it reminds us that Christ is our light. And his light has conquered the darkness of the grave. And he offers the light of his life, his love, to each and every one of us. Now, probably the most popular symbol of Easter, I have to admit to the average person in the street, is the bunny rabbit. And that rabbit, according to pagan symbolism, is a symbol of fertility. And some Christians have adapted it as a sign of abundant life, new life. But this Easter, I would like to draw your attention to a little creature not normally associated with Easter: bats. My first 5 years in the priesthood, I primarily taught at Columbus Catholic High School in Marshfield, and lived in this huge old house, this rectory at St. John the Baptist. And for a number of months, there were bats in the walls in my bedroom. And so there were 2 adjoining walls that had windows in them. And the headboard was here, and there was one bat by that window and another bat along this wall over the headboard. And I swear, they made quite the racket. It was like they were communicating, and from time to time, like they were screaming at each other. And they would do this anywhere from noon till 3:30 in the morning. And I know bats don't have any bones, but they sound like bony creatures as they shuffle through the walls. Well, just to show you how good-natured I am, one night, I went to bed quite a bit later than usual. It was nearly midnight. And set my alarm for 4:40 a.m. I meant it, 4:40 a.m., the usual time. Love your teachers. I don't do that anymore. But that night, they were particularly loud. And I used to, when I hear the boning and, scratching in the walls, I just bang up against the headboard and hope to kind of spook them and quiet them, and a lot of times that worked. But this particular night, I just couldn't quiet those bats. And then the alarm went off at 4:40 in the morning. And I was so tired and so angry. I walked over that window. Boom, boom, boom. How do you like it when you can't sleep? I just kept pounding on that thing. Now, would you... Well, I have to say, like those bats, from that day on, that moment on, never heard of them. They're gone during the fall and the winter. But they came back on Good Friday. Now, would you be willing to become a bat, find that God-forsaken hole, shimmy through the walls, and tell those bats to quit yelling at each other and to find a more appropriate home so they're not bothering Father Conopa anymore? And if you would be willing to be a bat to do that for me, thank you, would you still be willing to be a bat if you knew that one bat would listen to you but the other wasn't going to? And if there's anyone who still would be willing to be a bat, if you knew that the one who wouldn't listen to you was also going to kill you, would you still do it? Any takers? In a certain sense, this is what the Son of God did for us. He saw all the fighting and the war and the anger and the selfishness and the greed and the misdirected loves of humanity. And he saw how this disappointed his heavenly Father. And so the Son of God, the Almighty One, chose to take a new nature, a human nature, to come to be one of us. And he knew that when he gave us the gospel, some would accept it, some would not, and some who would not accept the gospel were going to kill him. Yet he came. We have much to be grateful for, especially tonight. And if that were the end of the story, that this man lived a good life, but died, and his bones are found in a grave in Palestine, we would be among some of the most pitiable of all people. I mean, would you really be celebrating tonight? If you say, oh, 2,000 years ago, this guy died. He was really great. And he's still dead. We can be grateful that Jesus Christ, proving that he is the Son of God, rose from the dead. And when we commit ourselves to Christ, we must do whatever he asks of us, knowing that there will be times when people see the gospel in our words and our actions. They will be inspired. And knowing that some will hear our words and see our actions, and they will actually reject us, mock us, and though it's very unlikely, even kill us, as we've seen especially in the Middle East and with ISIS. But we know that this world is not the end of the story. If we are united with Christ in his teaching, in his life, and in his death, we will also be united with him in the glory of the resurrection.